For those of you that have known me for a while, you've probably heard me talk quite a bit about storytelling. And while you might think most of the time I'm talking about the traditional kind of stories when we think of like Star Wars or a really awesome Pixar movie or a book that we just couldn't put down because the narrative was so compelling that pulled us along, I'm actually talking about something way more fundamental. Something that's more at the essence of how we operate as humans. This brain of ours that we have, how it's actually a narrative machine. It is always telling stories. But before I go any further, I just wrote a whole article. So if you've always wondered, like, what is he actually talking about when he's talking about storytelling? The link is in my bio. You should definitely check it out. So this narrative brain that we have is always telling ourselves stories constantly. And because there's so much information around us, our brains actually reduce all that chaos down into stories. And a lot of times we're missing information in those stories. We walk into a place and we're running a little bit late or a little bit early and we're like, who's that person at the front desk? And do I know anybody here? And like, why is that person staring at me? Our brain goes to work trying to figure out what meaning am I going to put to all the stuff that's happening right now. And a lot of times when we don't have the whole story, our brain pulls old stories, old narratives, and interjects those into our current experience. And sometimes that doesn't always serve us. And it has an effect on how we see the future, what we think about when we think about ourselves, and what we think is possible. So check out the blog. Hopefully it's helpful for some of you. And if anything, maybe it'll start to give you all a little more perspective beyond the kind of creative side of storytelling when I talk about storytelling, what I actually mean.